Hi there, good evening, everybody. Want to welcome you all here to the Prog Monster. My name is Murph. I am the host of this show. So, I apologize for the lateness of this. It was one of those long, unwinding days that took forever to get things done and just couldn't get to it till later in the evening. However, I did want to get it in because I've missed a couple on Thursdays due to this type of situation. I didn't want to make this a habit. So I'm getting it in. So we're doing the new Prog albums, and the one I picked for tonight is Big Big Train's Woodcut. Now this is a band that I have heard albums from before and have liked them, but I really like that other vocalist. He really had that Gabriel sound going, which I really liked, and the music suited it so well. This guy's a little different, but I've kind of grown on him after this album. So eventually I decided to give him a chance here, and that's what I'm doing tonight. This was released on February the 6th, 2026 on Sweetwater Studios. It was recorded at Sweetwater Studios in the USA. About 66 minutes in length, which is outside of my wheelhouse. I think it's a bit long. They could have cut back a few tracks. It might have made it a little easier on my listening. But they didn't phone me up and ask my permission, so I don't think they care too much. So this is on the Inside Out Music label. There are 7 people in the band, of course, starting with Alberto Braven, lead vocals, acoustic electric guitars, keys, Moog, and Mellotron. Then you've got Nick DeVirgilio, drums, percussion, keys, acoustic and 12-string guitars, as well as vocals. Oscar Holdorf on grand piano, electric piano, Hammond organ, Mellotron, synthesizers, and vocals. Claire Lindley on violin, acoustic guitar, and vocals. Paul Mitchell on trumpet, piccolo trumpet, and vocals. Richard Solblum on 6 and 12-string guitars, Hammond organ, and vocals. Gregory Spaughton on bass pedals, 12-string acoustic guitar, Mellotron, and vocals. So you got a lot of people on vocals, a lot of people on keyboards. It means you have a lot of versatility on how you can perform on the album. You could have multiple people playing different keyboard sounds. Really adds a real depth to the album, and you see that on this album. There's a lot of that on this album. I find this album to be, it's mellow in some ways, almost pastoral at times, very classical in sound, I hear bits and pieces of a lot of different bands in here, a little bit of Yes, maybe at Yes more in the structural part than actual sound, a little bit of that Genesis sound. At times they have that folky kind of Jethro Tull feel to them. Yeah, so there's a lot of stuff going on here. They mix stuff very well. I think the album is well organized. There's a lot of variety, from the quiet to the up-tempo to some heavier stuff. Yeah, they do a multitude of different sounds and levels of, hardness to softness or softness to hardness, which is good. Like, there's a lot of variety here, which is good. It's not a repetitive album by any stretch. There are some points where it seems a bit repetitive, but they always change it up a bit. So I quite like their vocal harmonies too. Having that many people being able to sing on your album really adds a kind of vocal depth to your album. The lead singer is quite good. He tends to be more in the mid-range. And up too long. It tends to be a little bit in the mid-range, but he does have high points in his vocals as well. There is a female voice that is on it a couple times as well. The backing harmony vocals are quite good, and the use of multiple vocals doing different kind of noises and sounds really adds that kind of yesy flavor to it. Anyways, we'll break down the album a little bit. So it has a brief, less than a minute track at the beginning called Inkwell Black. It's basically just a classic melodic piece. There's nothing outstanding or terribly memorable about it, but it's good. I like the opening. It leads into the next song, "The Artist," which is one of my favorites, if not my favorite on the album. Nice acoustic guitar opening, some nice soft classical parts. It does jump up at times and interludes to multiple instruments, making a lot more sound. The vocals are clear, smooth, mid to high range. Some very strong guitar parts throughout the track. Catchy, mellow track. Nice keyboards and piano. And this keeps the track almost pastoral at times. The backing vocal parts are melodic, and they give it a kind of melodic feel as well. And the guitar solo was very good. I like the guitar solo towards the end. Very nice. Next up is a song called "The Lie of the Land." This is a shorter piece, less than 3 minutes. Piano, kind of a raspy but husky type of vocal part here. The drums are a little bit more predominant on this track. Nice keyboards and synthesizer parts as well. It does pick up and as it goes along, so the song kind of builds up, almost unnoticeable at first. It moves into these parts slowly so that the track builds up and gets stronger, but you don't really notice it going that way until you actually think about it. Next track up is "The Sharpest Blade." This is a slow, low melodic drum keyboard part to open this track, and then you have some nice mellow vocal parts, medium to high in range, and then you got a nice melodic build up to this track. A bit of this track kind of reminds me a little bit of IQ, which also reminds me of Genesis. But it's the difference between IQ and Genesis for me is that Genesis is more kind of classical, melodic, softer, almost pastoral, whereas IQ is a little bit more symphonic and heavier in their sound. But they both have a similar sound. This is a little bit more on that IQ feel. There's some nice harmonic vocals and parts in the back half of the song as well. So I'm going to flip her over now to listen. So there's like 16 tracks on this album. There's quite a few. You got Albion Press, which is next. It's got a heavy initial beat, then some keys, piano, a little bit of a pastoral sound. Drum fills are good. Nice strong build up and catchy riff. Heavy parts, nice guitar part that is heavy, distorted, almost a distorted part, and not overly distorted, but a little bit of that distorted part in it. The vocals are clean, smooth, and concise. This is a very proggy song, one of the more proggy songs on the album. I did like this as well. Next is Acadia. This is odd because the song before it, Albion Press, and this song, Acadia, are both the exact same length, 5 minutes and 47 seconds. That's kind of weird. I don't think I've ever seen that before. From back-to-back tracks, that is. Nice melodic, quieter track. It does build up as it goes along. The vocals, again, mid-range, crisp, clear sound this time. Not any kind of husky or any kind of odd noises to his voice, just very clean sounding. This is almost a ballad-like track, so maybe they were trying to capture that feeling. A nice build-up with a piano towards the edge of the track. Really, really quite a good track. I didn't mind this track. Next up is one of the shortest. I think this is actually the shortest piece on the track. It's only about 37 seconds or so in long. It's called Second Press, a nice classical melodic violin part with some organ, and it's pure instrumental, no vocals at all here. The next track up is called Warp and Wealth. Wealth, or Weft. Warp and Weft? I think it's probably Weft, yeah. Picks up like a nice guitar opening, very catchy. The drum and the guitar part on this song do pick up and make it more of a driving track, like more of a moving forward track, I guess. Vocals are forward, mid-range with some nice backing support here. There's a multi-vocal part where they're all doing different parts. It's almost a Yes-like track, like We Are Heaven type thing. Not quite like that, but definitely the same type of thing going on, but doesn't really sound like that. Nice kind of yeah. That to me, that's the way I would view it. Not sounding like Yes, but definitely having the elements that go in that song. The next track out is called Chimera. Nice quiet acoustic driving track. Means it's moving forward. Vocals are smooth, clear, and a little bit on the catchy side. Nice synthesizers that they add to give it that kind of sad feeling towards at the beginning, and then it kind of moves away from that as it goes along. And the multi vocal parts, kind of a Jethro Tull like feel here, very folky. Yeah. So the next bunch of tracks in a row, all were, I think, the back half, like this next 7 or 8 tracks in a row, are the best tracks on the album. Dead Point. This is arguably one of my favorite tracks on the album. It's got a nice electric, quiet opening, forward, clear, forced vocals. They're like really pushing it a bit here. Excuse me. Does become a little bit more symphonic. Does pick up tempo as they go along. Gets heavier. The Mellotron solo at the end is fantastic. Very Genesis sounding. Yeah, absolutely killer track. Maybe the reason why this is one of my favorite tracks is just because of that Mellotron part. Then you got The Light Without Heat, another acoustic guitar intro. Vocals are soft, clear, forward, nice keys and guitar solo. Very emotional, melodic track. I like this one too, just almost as much as Dead Point, but they're almost total opposites. Next, you've got Dreams in the Backs, Black and White. I like the vocal part here. It's multi-layered, dominant, and there's a bit of a female vocal part in here too, which is quite good. It's more of a lead part for the female vocals. There's not very many of those on the album. And the chimes really add to it as well. It's a shorter track with some light percussion and drums towards the back part of the song. I did like this quite a bit. It's a very kind of almost classical feel at times to it. Next track out is called Cut and Run. This is almost again another opposite track to the previous one. Heavy up-tempo, catchy track, kind of guitar dominated as it goes along. It does have some nice jazzy piano parts in there too, which I kind of like. That's one part of jazz music I like, is the piano. And a nice Mellotron part, which is excellent towards the back half of the song. This song has, I like this song as much as the others, but not for any particular aspect, but for the breakdowns of the little parts in it, which I think are quite well done. Next track is one of the shorter tracks, just under 2 minutes. Hawthorne White is the name of the track. It's quiet. It's a nice, quiet, soft piano. It does get heavier on the piano as it goes along, and then adds in some violin. Nice, really kind of classical feel to the song. Next is Counting Stairs, another acoustic guitar part. Vocals are clear, smooth, mid to high range in sound. Piano adds some kind of a sad feel to the song. Then it kind of ends with this heavy, louder, more predominant part. And then there's a nice low melodic heavy guitar solo towards the back half. Or it's not really a solo, it's more like a riff, I guess. And then the final track on the album is called Last Stand, aptly named. A little bit longer than its predecessors. It's about almost 3.5 minutes, a little bit more than 3.5 minutes. It's got a nice heavy symphonic opening, And it does kind of melt away into this loud, medium vocal part. The drums are prominent on this track. The vocals build up and get to a very high range, at least high for this album. And the guitar solo takes over as the song starts to move to a climax. Yeah, it's quite a good track too. So the last 6 or 7 tracks, I gave like 5 or 6 of them sevens, which shows the strength of the back half of the album. So overall, it's a good album. I liked it. I haven't seen any other views on it. I just basically did my own when I came home. What I tend to do is I'll listen to the album, make my notes, do my write-up, introduce and talk about the album, and then sometimes I'll go and watch a couple of other people review it to see if they saw it the same thing as me or see how accurate I was. I like to do that after the fact to see if I'm getting it or not. Anyways, I hope you've enjoyed this episode of New Prog Albums featuring Big Big Train's newest album called Woodcut. I hope to see you all next week when we'll have another album coming out for the show. And please hit the like and subscribe. If you want to make any comments about Big Big Train or about Woodcut or about anything I've said, you can do that in the comment section. Take care. Have yourself a good evening and goodbye.